breaking the habit of being yourself. And a lot of this comes down to how we are thinking. Like he says, right, the brain heart connection, right, being in alignment with ourselves. But really, it comes down to how we are responding to our environment, how we are thinking about things, and then how we respond to our environment. I wrote this down because it's not something that we often talk about. But people, we can get addicted to our emotions. Did you know that? Did you know like you can be addicted to an emotion, an emotional state, like what you feel? If you've programmed your nervous system, if you've programmed your wiring of feeling depressed or anxious or stressed or those, and you do it long enough and your body remembers it, that the things outside of you that then fire off those things put you back into a state that even if you like it or not, right? Like there's so many things in this journey of designing our ideal life, of becoming the man or woman God called you to be, of like in this process of personal growth, personal development. There's so many things we have to start becoming aware of. We have to become aware of the things that are really running our lives, which is us, our thoughts, our habits, right? What we believe is true. This is what runs your life. It's not the circumstances. I have to stress this over and over again because I talk to a lot of people that they still believe that it's the circumstance that causes them to feel a certain way. It's their family member that causes them to feel a certain like it's everything outside of them. And you guys know, you've heard me say it over and over again, that's not the game. The game is internal. Your internal world reflects, right? It reflects your external. So like that's what you have to do. Ron said, right? We see that in adrenaline. Exactly right. Right? Like it's these are the things we have to pay attention to. I wrote down nothing changes in your life if we don't change. You hear me say it in different ways, but you just heard them say it again. If nothing changes, nothing changes. Nothing in your life will change if you don't change. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about our thoughts can make us sick. So if our thoughts can make us sick, then our thoughts can make us well, right? If both have to be true. And so he goes down the path, and he kind of mentioned it a little bit at the end, towards the end of that, where they're doing experiments with people that have sicknesses and start to change something about them. They start to change how they react. They start to change what they do. It has nothing to do with the medication or right the treatment. They start to change themselves and their outlook and what they do. And over time, that makes them well, right? Like these are principles. These are things that, like, again, if we're going to go off and design our ideal life, ladies and gentlemen, we have to make sure that we are paying attention to this. Last thing I wrote down is, when he mentioned something in there about like when your soul is feels that discomfort, feels that like nothing will come to like cure this thing. It's because your soul knows there's a future. You just don't know what that future is. You were just a little bit afraid of that future. There's a saying that says a man without a vision will always return to his past. Right? That's the way it goes. If you don't have a vision, if you don't have something ahead of you, you're just going to resort back to the person you've been, what you've known, what you've done before, because that's what's gotten you here. But what got you here won't get you there. And so we have to be mindful of this type of stuff. In the text, it says here, number 53 and 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class says champions are future oriented, right? This is something we have to remind ourselves of so we don't live so much in the past and we create a new future for ourselves. Again, Dr. Joe Dispenza is really good at breaking this type of stuff down. That book, that audio book, I have to go back and there were so many pieces, right? I have to go back into it. But like this is the game. It's how much do you think of the future versus how much do you live in the past? That's a challenge to a lot of people. Just being able to think so much about the future, you almost have to, again, maybe disregard a bit of your past experiences. And that's hard for a lot of people. Why? Because we have some emotional homes. We have some emotional addictions that we stay in because of our past, right? Like Gets a little bit deeper than this. Anyway, here's what it says in the text. It says, while amateurs often live in the past, champions look toward the future. Pros habitually focus on the present while creating their ultimate vision for and landscape of the future. This future orientation allows them to dream of grand visions and unlimited possibilities. Let me stop there. Do you have grand visions and unlimited possibilities? Is that how your brain operates now? Do you see just unlimited amounts of possibilities around you? Do you have dreams of, right, a grand life, of a big life of service, right? Remember, a big life doesn't always mean it's just our big life. When you start to have the capacity to handle a bigger life and you have a good heart, you will serve more people. More people will be able to benefit from your capacity. So always remember that, right? But it says the future orientation allows them to dream of grand visions and unlimited possibilities. It also keeps them motivated and moving forward by keeping the proverbial carrot out in front of them. Amateurs like to talk about the good old days and how they wish things were like they were before. Professional performers are just the opposite. The pros revere and respect the past, but place responsibility for the future squarely on their shoulders. Taking personal responsibility for failures, successes, and actions in general is a trait of world-class performers. The saying, if it is to be, it's up to me, reflects their belief. Average people would rather see themselves as victims of circumstances beyond their control. The great ones make their own circumstances and respond with a higher level of awareness to negative events in their lives. Their execution-based focus and future orientation keeps them on track. It all begins with taking full responsibility for their lives and their futures. You get to determine your life. You get to determine your future life, right? Why? Because we get to write it down, right? Master plan to energize and focus. We get to write down who we want to be. We get to what you heard Joe Dispenza talking about, because I listened to the book, right? He dives into meditation, right? And meditative practices and being able to calm and align your body and your mind, right? Kind of align your spirit and then reprogram it with the words that you want to be able to experience, hear, see, right? Like you reprogram it. The way you do that is slowing everything down, taking time for yourself. He talks about meditation and then using this practice of being in this still place to then reprogram the thoughts that you want to have, reprogram the feelings you want to have, right? Reprogram the reactions you want to have. You might not have them right away, but if you do that process, you are now retraining your brain. You are unlearning and relearning what you need to do in order to become the man or woman you want to be, right? That's the process. You get to choose that. You get to choose that. Most people don't choose it. I'm challenging all of you and encouraging all of you to choose that. If you have not yet spent time to write down who you believe you want to be in 5 years, we can't be the people that say, I only think about today. I can't think past, right? The title of this chapter, the book is 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. Champions are future oriented. If you come across people that say they cannot think past a certain time, it's they're not playing in the right game. You have to be able to think about what you want. Now, will that happen? That's up to God. That's up to your actions, right? How things fall in place. But you still have to have the vision for your life, for the man or woman you want to be. If I asked you all that question, hey, in 5 years, however old you're going to be in 5 years, who's the man or woman you want to be at that time? Not what do you want to do for work? Not like that's just a small part. Now, what do you want to do for work? Not what type of car do you want to drive or what house do you want to have? Who are you in 5 years? What do you embody? What type of thoughts and feelings are you having? What type of peace and joy and happiness and all the things are you exuding? Like, who are you in 5 years? You should know that. You should write that down. And then once that's written down, That is your reference. When you start having thoughts or feelings or emotions or habits that maybe aren't serving you, you can just go back to the person you said you want to be and say, hey, is the way I'm thinking about this gonna serve that future version of me, or is it not? Is the fear or the things that I'm holding on to, is that going to help me build the capacity to be this woman, to be this man up ahead, or no? Because if not, then I use my knowledge base to start changing those things, start reprogramming, rewiring. This takes work. This takes work. I never said this was going to be easy, but it's possible and it's worth it. It just takes your intention. Like you have to be intentional about changing to a different human being, to a different person. But it starts with your mind being focused on the future and not on the past. What got you here won't get you there. The person you were 5 years ago is not going to be the person you'll be in 5 years from now. You have to remember that. You have to remind yourself that. Joe Dispenza in there said something about, right? We have to, a belief is just a thought that we repeat over and over again. A belief is just a thought that we repeat over and over again. So if you're able to capture your thoughts and give yourself new thoughts to think about over and over again, you now have a different belief system, which will cause you to do different things, which will change your life. If we're not intentional about our thoughts, if we're not intentional about changing and rewiring, we'll get the same life that we've already had. We'll experience the same feelings. We'll go through the same trials and tests, and it's all the same stuff, just 60, 70, 80 years of your life of the same thing. That's not what we're here to do. That's not what you were called to do. We're right. We are growing into the people that we need to be in order to handle the life that we're asking for. You have to keep your mind focused on the future. Plan it in the present, plant it in the present, vision of your future. Again, you've heard me say this analogy before. I hope you understand it, right? In a car, the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. Front windshield, because your car drives forward, is bigger than the rear view mirrors and the side mirrors. They're bigger. Or right, like the windshield's bigger. Why? Because you only need to see so much about what's behind you or around you. It's more important that you see where you're going. It's more important that you see what's up ahead. Sure, you need, like it says here, amateurs often live in the past, champions look for pros habitually focus on the present. I don't know, something that said like it's only in relation to like where you've come from. So your side mirrors, you're just looking like quickly on the side, like make sure there's nothing over there. Rear view mirror is tiny. You're just checking up to see if somebody's speeding up behind you or like what's happening behind you, but you are squarely focused on the future. This is how your life should be. This is how you should be living your life. It's just not how we naturally live our life. We naturally live our life from experiences, from past things we felt, from past hurts, from past traumas, and it shapes us into these people. So then we feel the same things that we feel in the past. My challenge, my encouragement to all of you this Friday is to get more future oriented. Pay more attention to what's up ahead, to the man or woman you want to be, than who you have been in the past. This quote says all great leaders have vision and idealization in which they can continually imagine the perfect outcome to all situations. Right? Action step for today says program yourself by repeating this statement until you believe it. The past is only as important as it relates to my present and the future. And any mistakes in my past have been for the purpose of helping me create a bountiful future. This affirmation harnesses the power of the past and directs it to the only place that it can serve you, the future. You got to be thinking about what's up ahead. You got to be looking forward in order for you to design your ideal life. We can't be concerned with the past. Whatever has happened for you, has happened for you to get to where you need to go. So that you've learned something, so that you've taken some type of lesson to move forward to the future that you're designing. Practice that this weekend. Practice looking forward. Again, start with your vision. Who is the man or woman you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, however far out you can project out. One of my mentors, very wealthy guy, just told me that he just created his legacy trust that goes out 360 years. You know, people that can't think past 300 days, right? You can't think past 300 hours. He just created his legacy trust for his family that's going to go out 360 years. That's like four generations. He's like the great great grandkids. That's wealth. That's like his mindset is of wealth. He can think far beyond. He is future oriented. You have to practice this. There's a practice. We're not naturally going to do that. You got to learn how to do that. But it's the right thing to do. Challenge you this weekend to start thinking further out in the future. Start getting yourself excited about what's up ahead, about the man or woman you want to be. And then we start putting in the work day by day to get there. All right. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. Love you guys. Take care.